Bien, mi gente, bienvenidos al podcast de los Clecas del deporte. En esta ocasión estamos acompañados y tenemos el honor de tener a un 2 veces MVP de la Liga de Superior de Voleibol, Jeff Ptak, de los Caribes de San Sebastián, que está teniendo otra estelar temporada. Hello, Jeff. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm very good. How are you?
I'm doing good, and thank you for your time and cooperation on this interview. So, Jeff, one question. I read that you're originally from Buffalo, right?
Yes, I'm from Buffalo, New York. I was born there in 1979, and I lived there until I was 18, where I went to IPFW, the same school as Piqui Soto and many other Puerto Ricans from the past, Raul Papaleo, Pepa Relat. The list is very long.
So we normally associate that area with hockey and football. Why did Jeff select volleyball as his choice of sport?
Well, I was originally a baseball player. That was my first dream, baseball and basketball. And my father he was grooming me to be the next Roger Clemens.
Oh.
He had me. I was. You know how much snow we get in Buffalo, New York? It's like the snow capital of the U.S. And I'd be out in the wintertime in our garage pitching to him when I'm 5 years old. And I played baseball for years and years and years, and for some reason, when I was 15, it just got boring. So I quit, and I pursued volleyball, and I really enjoyed the sport. I liked the team aspect of it. I liked traveling to tournaments, which was amazing. I loved doing that, and I got good. And usually when you're good at something, you're going to enjoy it, and you're going to pursue it even further. So, I got recognized with the junior national team when I was 17, played with the USA guys. I went over to Italy and played, and that kind of opened the door for me for college. So right then I knew that, okay, volleyball will be my sport.
So when you graduated high school, you were basically recruited by a lot of universities, right?
Yes. I was my top three choices were Penn State, Pepperdine, or IPFW. IPFW at that time had the most amount of money for me that would go towards a scholarship. So I had a very good scholarship there. And as well as at the time my mother was very sick, and IPFW is only about 6.5 hours from Buffalo. So if something happened or if I needed to go home, it was an easy drive to get home.
Oh, so that also explains, like, you didn't consider the universities in the West, right? Like,
yes, well, Pepperdine was a choice of mine as well, but that school, that's actually the same school where one of my fellow teammates here, Corey Reeks, he went to school. I was happy I went to IPFW and I saw, to be honest, I saw a match with Piqui Soto. And I said, I can learn so much from this guy, and I want to play here because of him. So he was a big reason also why I went to IPFW.
So for the people that hadn't heard about it, you and Piqui Soto were teammates, right, in Indiana Fort Wayne?
We were teammates for 2 years. We had a very, very good team.
And you did get to the Final Four, right, in 99?
We did. In 99, we were in the Final Four. I learned a lot from him. He mentored me a lot, and I was lucky to be a teammate of him for 2 seasons.
Okay, so after you finished college, right? Were you called to the U.S. national team?
Yes, I was actually on the U.S. national team during college. In 2001. I played World League with them. I was in the World League roster, and then went back to school for 2 more seasons. And then in 2003, when I finished officially college, I was with the team. Unfortunately, I got an injury without maybe 2 weeks into playing with the U.S. national team, and I had to get a knee surgery. So And then that was pretty much my end with the team. Went overseas a couple seasons, and they asked me to come back, but it's difficult when you have a family to play overseas for 8 months and then come back home when you want some break to spend time with your family, but you have to go out and train with the national team. And I chose a different path. I'm sure my career would have been a little bit more prosperous if I would have stayed with the national team, but I'm happy I was with my family, so it ended up a good situation.
You were in Indiana for Wayne. You were with the legendary Arnie Bow, right? He was the coach there, right?
Yeah, Arnie's a good guy.
So how did he help your development?
Arnie is a very old school coach. He believes in just the really strict, hard training. When I went there, he didn't care what happened outside the court as long as you came to practice every day, trained hard, whether you were sick, hungover, whatever the situations you're having with your girlfriend or family, as long as you come to practice every day and train hard and be the best you can be, that's all he cared about. He was a very hard-nosed. They called it Arnie's Army. And, it was true. I mean, he ran a really tight ship, but, I wouldn't have wanted any other way. I wouldn't have wanted to play for any other coach because he really showed me a lot of morals and a lot of values, to have, not only as like a team, but in a family setting as well. The guy, he's awesome. He lives and breathes the sport, and it translates through his players.
So how does that compare with when you went to the national team? How was the development of the national team?
The coaching was a little bit different styled. It was more, I think, at that level. I'm sure it's kind of like college to pros when you look at like an NBA team or something like this. I felt when we got to the national team, it was more, the coaches kind of felt like they were on the same level as the players, like you're equals. Where, Arnie, we're a bunch of college kids goofing off, where, it's more like a dictatorship, if you will, but as soon as you get to the pro level or the national team level, it's kind of, you can sit down with the coaches and talk about normal stuff, and it's not like they're way above you. That seemed to be really the only difference. It was a lot more technical training as well with the national team. It's just a different style. Obviously, if you're coaching kids, and then you go to coaching pros, it's a little bit different.
So you arrived in Puerto Rico in 2005?
2004. 2004, I played with Ponce.
Oh, you started in Ponce, right? And
yeah, no one remembers that, but I was with Ponce in 2004. I came. How that happened? My wife and I, she became pregnant. Okay, and I'm like, shoot, I'm gonna start playing. Surgery. I took 8 months off from my knee surgery, and I didn't even know if I was gonna play anymore. But I said, I need some cash. We need some money. So let's go to Puerto Rico and play. And my best friend Jorge Relat, who is Felipe Pepa Relat's brother, he had some connections here in Ponce, and my friends got me a job here, and I played 3/4 of the season. So I came late and played 3/4 of the season. Played very well, and I met Carlos Cordona, who he used to be the national team coach here. He was coaching for San Juan at the time, and he asked me to play on his team in Italy. So it kind of opened the door for me internationally right there, because I went on to play for him that following season in Italy. 2004 was my first year here, and I was with Ponce. So
you played here, then Italy. You also played in other countries. So I want to do a small dynamic with you. I'm going to mention a couple of countries. I want your impression on things that stood out for you when you went to those countries, outside of sports and in sports. Okay?
Okay.
So let's start with Brazil.
Brazil. I would have to say the beautiful people. People there were always smiling and always happy and always just having a good time. There's a lot of music, a lot of food. It's actually, for me, very similar to here in Puerto Rico.
And what about volleyball? What's the culture in volleyball there?
The volleyball in Brazil, I would say volleyball in Brazil is probably, we'll say it like this. I was told by many people that volleyball in Brazil is the number one sport, but soccer, or football as you will, is religion. So basically volleyball is the number two sport there. Our games would be absolutely packed with fans. When we made it when the round of the playoffs came, people were camping outside waiting to get tickets. It was the real deal. You know, it was taken very seriously. We practiced in the morning for 2 hours every single day, in the afternoon for 3 hours. So 5 hours of training every single day. It was very serious, and it was at an extremely high level. And I mean, volleyball in Brazil is huge, and I'm very happy I was able to have the chance to play there.
Is it a faster pace than other countries?
See, you know, Brazil is the really the team or the country that really initiated the faster pace of volleyball, the faster set, just everything quicker. And when I did go there, it was 2008 when I played there. It was a much faster pace than I was used to playing. But I adjusted pretty quickly, and I had good success there until I got injured. So.
Okay, so how about Italy? What in the culture of Italy stood out for you?
Where you know, Italy was it reminded me a lot of, like, you know, it's Europe, obviously. It's very old, really beautiful old architecture. The people are, you know, it's different than Brazil. They're a little bit more restrained with their happiness, if you will. They're always in coffee shops, always drinking espressos and smoking. This is Italy. But it's really a beautiful place, a place with so much history, and I still have many friends. I mean, wherever I've played, I have just a large amount of friends still from every country, every city I've been to, and Italy was the first place I played in Europe. And it was, 2004 when I was over there, and it was a difficult time for me because my wife just gave birth to my son, and being away, I was extremely homesick, and I would have liked to play there on different season, maybe a few years after that, just to play and be myself and just not have as many worries, you know, because it was a very beautiful place.
Okay, what about Cyprus?
Cyprus was cool. Cyprus was it's a small country. It reminded me a lot of Puerto Rico because it's small in size, and it seems like a lot of people know everybody. You drive to every game. The farthest you'll drive is like an hour to a game, hour and 15 minutes to a game. So it was a cool spot. I had a lot of friends there, but it's the same like Italy. Like everyone, what you do for fun, you go to a coffee shop, you have coffee, you sit around, you talk to people. That's pretty much Europe in a nutshell. But yeah, I really liked Cyprus. It was an island, obviously. You know, beautiful beaches, and the people were awesome as well.
What about the volleyball there? What's the culture of volleyball?
Volleyball there, it was okay. It was difficult thing in Cyprus is that some teams really, you know, were professional, some teams were not. Some teams paid money, some teams, you know, old players from the previous years. You know, that happens a lot in the sport. But the unfair part of when I played there was that you could have unlimited foreign players. Okay, so if a team had a lot of money, they could have 6 foreigners on the court, and you didn't have to have a single person from Cyprus on the court.
Oh, okay.
My team had 3 foreign players. We had three Cypriots. So it was kind of unfair, to be honest. But we actually won a championship there, and I had a really good time, really good time in Cyprus.
What about Bahrain?
Bahrain, man, I love Bahrain. I truly have Bahrain and Puerto Rico in my heart as like a home to myself. Bahrain is once again, it's an island. It's smaller than Puerto Rico. It's an island located in the Arabian Gulf, and it has a causeway to Saudi Arabia. It's an amazing place. The people, it's an Islamic country, so it's a Muslim country, and people were more respectful and more understanding of myself not being Muslim than you can imagine. They treated me like I was one of their own, that I was family. I have more friends in Bahrain than I have anywhere in the world.
So there was no friction like America in Middle East?
Zero. I mean, when I went to Bahrain in 2009, everyone was saying, "Oh, Jeff, you're crazy. You're going to the Middle East. You're going to be on CNN with your head cut off or something like this." And I said, "Hey, this isn't. You have to have an open mind. You know, this is. You watch mainstream TV and it talks bad about these countries, but you actually go to them and they're beautiful places with beautiful people. You know, you have to kind of look past the stereotypes and accept people for, you know, being a kind person, which 99% of the people in the world are kind people." So no, there was no friction at all. Not once did anyone ask me anything really about like different cultures or different religions. They just accepted me as one of their own, and everyone was really cool. I had a blast, and I played there 5-6 seasons, and you know, people really treated me well. And
how was the volleyball there?
You know, volleyball is okay. I'd say maybe a step down from the volleyball here in Puerto Rico. They have the best national team in the Gulf, over in the Middle East, is from Bahrain. You know, there are other leagues there, like in Qatar or in UAE. There's a few good teams, but if you go from top to bottom, I'd say Bahrain is probably the best league. Every team is good. So the volleyball is decent. You can only have one foreign player per team, kind of same as here. You can have one refuerzo. So it's you know, it's a decent level volleyball.
So one question: what do you think of, like in the Olympics, Qatar had 2 Brazilians compete in beach volleyball, right?
Yes, I remember that.
What do you think about
Qatar.
that?
Personally, Qataris, their whole entire indoor volleyball team, national team, is nobody's from Qatar. Nobody. And they have one or two Qatari players, and only one plays. So last year I was playing in Bahrain, and we played in the Arab Championships, which were actually in Africa, in Tunisia. And we're playing against teams from Saudi Arabia, from Tunisia, from Egypt, from all over, okay? And these teams are all, they play by the rules. But then the Qatar team comes in, and most of these guys are white Serbians.
Okay.
Yeah, Serbian, Slovaks, there's like a Cuban guy on the team. They're from all over the place, Brazilians, and it didn't make any sense. But what they do is they bring them to Qatar, and legally they're allowed to do this. They bring them there, and then after 2 years they give them the passport, and so you're now a citizen.
Would you have done that? Would you have done that if they had offered that, like on your peak years?
Depending on the money.
Okay.
You know, money talks. You know, it truly does. I mean, if they would have. And I think everyone would have done the same thing. If they would have offered the right price, I would have definitely considered it.
So now we get back to Puerto Rico, right?
Okay.
And you got here, you play in Ponce, right? Then you play in Corozal, right? And you play in Corozal, and you leave Corozal. What happened in Corozal? Well,
in Corozal, I went my first season there. I came. This was back when the league was in the summertime. Okay, so the first season I played there was after I played in Ponce, and they signed me to a contract because they already signed Marcos Milinkovic, okay, from Argentina.
Okay.
But he had to miss the first 7 games because he was playing it overseas. So I only had a seven game contract. So I came and played those 7 games, and I played pretty well. And the team was playing. We were playing very, very. I think we were 6-1 over the course of those 7 games, and we were playing great. And then I had to leave because my contract was finished. So I left, and then Marcos got hurt at the end of the season in playoffs. So they invited me back, and I played 2 games, but we didn't advance in the playoffs. So I stayed in relations with the team, and the following season I signed again with them for the full season. And unfortunately, we didn't meet the expectations that we were hoping for. We didn't make the playoffs, and it was either we didn't make the playoffs or we didn't get past the first round. I don't remember, but so that was the end of my career in Corozal. I loved playing there. This was back in the days when the stadium was full of people, and I really liked it. It was a blast, and I still love playing in that court. Every time I play there, I play well, and it's a great place to play and a great atmosphere. But I did the following season. They didn't call me back, so I went and I played in my West in 2007.
So Gaby Acevedo, you remember Gaby?
Yep.
He sent you his regards.
Yeah, I love Gaby. He's a good dude, man. A real good guy.
Yeah, and he talked to me about you, right? He particularly remembers your revenge game. You went with Maya West to Corozal, and you seemed possessed for that game. He remembers you like Corozal had a great team. They were trying to stop you, and they couldn't. And you established a record that night, right? 54 points, which still stands in the league, right? So, what drove you in that game? Was it anger? Or did you want to show you they should have called you back? What?
It was. To be honest, I don't usually play with anger. I don't play with anger. It was one of those games when you're just in a zone. When I'm like in a zone like that, I don't really talk in the game. I just kind of let it flow. And it was one of those career games that you don't have that often. And I remember it was one of the last couple games of the season, and we wanted to be seated higher than we were, I remember. And we said, hey, we need to win these next 2 games. I remember we played with Corozal, and then we played in Ponce. And so we played that Corozal game, and I just felt great. And Amir Giotti was setting me perfect balls every single time, no matter where it was. And we had a great connection, and it was honestly like it was effortless for me.
So it didn't have to do with the fact that you were against Corozal?
No. I mean, I don't really hold like grudges like that. I never have. Because if you think about it too much, then it maybe becomes a mind game for you, and maybe you play worse. But no. I mean, I was just playing. I felt great, and I mean, it's funny because I remember after the game, I felt like I could have played another match. I wasn't even tired. So I mean, that was almost 10 years ago. That was 10 years ago actually. So it was a long time ago, man.
That record still stands, right? So it's incredible.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it would be very difficult for that record to break, just because volleyball. If a team's going to win now in volleyball, it kind of involves everybody. You're going to distribute the ball more than you're used to in volleyball. I mean, sometimes, a team that wins is a team like Arecibo from years past, or Guaynabo last year, who uses everybody. There's not one player scoring 30, 40 points. It's, everyone's 10, 12, 18, something like this. I've scored a few points in Bahrain. I had games like that when when I was in Cyprus, I had a game just like that. But they don't happen that often. You know, it's you get lucky sometimes. Sometimes you feel everything perfect and you ate the right food that day or whatever it was, man. But you know, that was definitely a night for me to remember. And you know, but no, it didn't have anything to do with like animosity or anger at Clecas or anything like that.
So you continue your career. You played with 4 teams, right? You also played with Mayagüez and now San Sebastián.
Yes.
So you've seen Puerto Rico League throughout the years. Are we better or worse than 10 years ago?
I would say it depends. The game is a little bit different now. It's a little bit more fast-paced. It depends what year, because some years a lot of the best Puerto Ricans were playing in Europe and not playing in the league here. For example, that 2007 the year 2007 when I had that 52 points, the league was very low. It wasn't a very high level because you had maybe 6-7 players playing outside and who didn't play in the league. Your best players were gone. You know, the league I think was a little bit more competitive when I first got here than it is now, because there were a few years where you had 2 refuerzos per team, and there were some big names that have played here. But it's still very competitive. The only thing I see different, and it's a big difference, is the fan support. Before there used to be, all of the courts were full. All of the courts. I remember Naranjito, Adjuntas, even Ponce, we had a lot of fans. And now it's difficult to get 500 people to a game. And I don't know if it's because people don't have interest in the sport anymore, or if, you know, that people just don't care, because there are very few fans coming to the games these days.
The economy also doesn't help, right? But
yeah, I mean, that's true. I know the tickets are kind of expensive depending on where you go, and you know, it's understandable. The economy is hurting for sure. But I know, like, even in Guaynabo, the tickets are, you know, $3, or, you know, in Fajardo, like $2. There's not much to come, and fans still don't come.
Yeah.
So,
what about?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the big change that I've noticed.
What about the work ethics here? Like you mentioned, you had 5 hours practice per day in Brazil. Mm-hmm. How has it changed in Puerto Rico? Are we better? Is it the same?
Well, I think, you know, when I first entered the league in 2004, we didn't practice that much in Ponce. We'd practice maybe twice a week, once a week, or something like that. But there were more games, so it was understandable. But now, I mean, we practice. Most teams are practicing pretty much every day, maybe giving only 1 day free per week. But there's no morning practices like, you know, Europe or anywhere else in the world. I think a lot has to do with a lot of players at work as well. The salaries aren't the highest here, and so people are obviously have their day jobs and they're playing in the league at night. So, but practices are about 2 hours long. But, you know, I mean, I think most teams practice for about 2 hours, and then I'll take care of myself during the day. So I'll go to the gym every single day in the morning, and I'll work out just to make sure, you know, I stay strong and nothing breaks on me, you know. So, no, I think that's the difference. There's no morning trainings here like there is overseas.
What about the coaching? Are we tactically on par, or we should do more trips to Europe?
Well, I think, you know, I think in my eyes, a coach's job is to prepare a team for a game. And then when game time comes, that's the players. That's on the players. You can never really blame a loss on a coach unless he makes a bad substitution or does something stupid, you know. The game is all on the players. So if a coach scouts the next team well, prepares the team for that game, then it's in the players' hands ultimately during the game. You know, each coach here I've had is actually a lot different than each other. Some really rely on tactical stuff. Some really rely on numbers. And it depends on who you have. So, and I've heard other coaches here are just kind of just trusting the players and let them do their own thing too. So it's a little different. Coaches overseas are definitely a little bit more hard nosed. You know, they're more of like elders, like
a system,
father, yelling. Yeah. So it's hard to explain. And to be honest, like with me, a lot of the coaches will just kind of let me do my thing, and just trust me that I'll score some points for them, because it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. It's hard to, I'm an old guy, and it's hard to change the stuff that I do already. So most coaches kind of like let me do my thing and like kind of be, a little bit of a lead by example with the players, and, show up to practice early and work out hard and just to show the guys, hey, listen, you're 18 years old and I'm 37 and I'm working harder than you. Come on, let's go. So, so, I mean, most coaches are really cool with me here.
Let's say the Puerto Rican Volleyball Federation brings you in as a consultant to the national team. Mm-hmm. What changes would you make?
I really don't know. I haven't followed the team this past year. I followed it, up until maybe last season. Then I kind of got lost from it. But I heard this past year they brought a lot of new players in who weren't traditionally with the national team. They kind of got rid of all the older, experienced players and brought new, taller players. Okay. I'd have to take a look at who they have and what they're doing with the team before I was able to comment on, any views with what they're doing right now. But, I remember back in 2007, 2006, 2007, the national team here was so strong. And I remember 2007, the year before U.S. was in the Olympics, Puerto Rico beat the U.S. Or the year before U.S. won the gold in 2008, Puerto Rico beat the U.S. And I think it was like World Championship, something like this. So
we had a good generation, right? At the
very good generation with Piqui and Gatito and those guys, Jose Rivera, Angel Perez. These were like the guys that, like, man, this Rene Esteves. These were Feño. This is a very good group of players.
So I also wanted to bring another dynamic for you, right? I'm going to name you a couple of players. I want your impression on them. The first thing that comes to mind, it can be an experience, it can be like a word, a phrase, whatever you think about, I want you to share, right? Lloyd Ball.
This is Lloyd's a winner. Lloyd, he doesn't care about anything but winning. That's it. He will do anything in the world to win, and he hates to lose.
Okay.
He'll do anything to win, and he's a champion.
Piqui Soto,
man, he's the reason why I went to my school. I followed him, and I wanted to be like this guy. And he's the one word I think is effortless, because when he plays, it looks like he doesn't even try.
Okay. Ossie Antonetti.
Ossie for me is. He's a legend. He unfortunately his career got cut short due to 2 injuries in one season, and I played with him his last year, and I was on the court when he broke his knee. But Ossie was, so much fire, so much excitement, and he really looked cool when he played too. He had his own unique style, and I was really jealous of how he played.
He actually was the MVP of the '99 Final Four, right?
Yeah, he was. I think him or Millar. I forget who won that MVP, but he was. I was really upset when we didn't get to play his team in the final, BYU in the finals. But yeah, he's a genuine good human being as well. Ozzy's a good guy.
Edgardo Goas.
Edgardo, very tall setter for Puerto Rico. He runs a quick offense, and I like the fact that he's always smiling. He has a lot of fun when he plays, and he's a very good setter, very smart setter.
And lastly, Robert Muñiz.
Robert Muñiz, yes. Robert's a warrior, man. Like he's the guy that you wouldn't want to see his bad side. He's like a gladiator, and he's one of my really good friends. And he loves the game, and he'll probably play till he's about 45.
He's a teammate of yours now in San Sebastián, right?
Yeah.
What's your expectation this season? Like you got the win yesterday against Corozal.
I came into this year hoping, obviously I want a championship really bad here. And, I came in saying this is going to be my last year because I want to win the championship. And I think we have a team that truly had the chance to win. We worked very hard, and I've been asking, since last year, I was asking Orly and our management to find some way to bring Eddie Rivera to San Sebastián, because in my eyes, Eddie's the future of volleyball in Puerto Rico. Eddie's a very, very good, skilled. He's the best all-around volleyball player on our team by far. He's just a very, very knowledgeable volleyball player. And with him, as soon as we got him, I said, you know what, I think that we do have a chance to win this championship. And, anything less than winning is going to be a failure in my eyes. But it's going to be difficult. There's some really good teams here. But I'm confident that if we play our game and we play well, that we definitely have a chance to win.
What's the future like? Can you come back next year? Are you going?
I was honestly planning on retiring after this season. If all goes well, I'll probably be finished. But you never know. I mean, I've told people that, and then my wife's been trying to get me to retire for like 4 years now. So we'll see what happens. Maybe you'll see me back next year for, with San Sebastián or with another team or something. But yeah, I came into the season thinking this would be my last year. You never know what happens, because I'll be 38 years old this year, and bodies don't last that long, and I want to play and not end a career with an injury. I want to go out where I'm still playing good, So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I won't say yes or no.
Have you thought about coaching?
No, I'm not. I'm not interested in coaching, to be honest. There's not as much money as there used to be in coaching, and it would be kind of difficult to be a coach for me. I've never really had the aspiration either to coach. I kind of want to leave the volleyball scene altogether. If I can't play, I don't want to sit on the sidelines and watch and coach. I'd rather just kind of leave.
Might frustrate you?
Yeah, for sure it would frustrate me, because I'd want to be playing.
So before we leave, when we were doing our research, I saw a news about your son had a business, right? Like
yes.
Is that business still running? Like
it's still running. He started it. It was there's actually some news stories and stuff online about it. It was a year and a half ago. My son wanted to get a new dog. Okay, and we have a dog at home already, and she was getting old. She's 12 years old, and now she's 13. But he said, "Dad, I want to get a new dog." I'm like, I don't know about that. And my wife said no. And so I said, listen, if you can buy your own dog, come up with money, you can get a new dog. So he said, you know what, I'm going to start a business. So he was doing these tie-dye socks. He made some socks for me, and I wore them to our CrossFit gym back home. And a few people commented on him and said, my son's name was Caden. They're like, Caden, why don't you sell these? How much are they for? He's like, I'm selling. They're like, you should start a new business. He said, you know what, Dad? I'm going to start a business. I'm going to buy that dog.
Okay.
So he started his business, and he took a few of his socks to the farmer's market downtown in where we live, and he sold enough of that very first day to buy a dog. So he's been doing extremely well for himself, and he outfits so many like girls club teams back home. He a lot of the guys on my team here wear his socks. He sponsors a few different athletes. And it's really cool to see the response to him. I mean, I just got an email today from a club team in Florida that wants to order his socks. I mean, he's doing really well, and a lot of people go through see me with the socks or see a teammate with the socks to ask. He has his own business cards. He has his own website. He's selling socks all over the world, so it's pretty cool. And then he advanced to, he makes tie-dye baby onesies, and he makes tie-dye dog bandanas. So he's kind of like progressing the business, and I'm really proud of him because he's done it all himself, and I help him out, but he does most of the work, and I lent him like $300 to start the business, and I said, hey, if this $300 runs out, the business is done, and he's thrived. He buys all his own supplies, everything with the money he's earned. So it's a really cool thing to watch, and I'm super proud of him.
Great story. So if this continues, he would not be known as Jeff's son. You would be known as Caden's father, right?
Well, it's funny because back, there's really no volleyball in the U.S. When I go back to the U.S., nobody knows who I am. Even in my city where volleyball, I live in Fort Wayne, so where IPFW, the school is, and back in the day, everyone knew who I was, but now nobody cares about volleyball. So everyone says, hey, are you the sock kid's dad? I'm like, yeah. So they know him before me, so It's pretty cool to see that. I'm like, yes, I am the sock kid's dad. That has already begun.
So I want to thank you, Jeff, for your time.
No problem, man.
And your
conversation. Thank you for having me.
You are very humble, right? You did play great yesterday, and
thank you.
We wish you the best.
I appreciate that.
Any shout out you want to give to the fans, to your family? Any shout out you want to give before we leave?
Well, I just want to say thank you to all the fans around the world, especially here in Puerto Rico, who support us, whether we're playing good or bad. Just true fans, and a lot of times the fans are really what make us get through a bad game or a tough situation, because they're usually there to have our backs. Also, my family has supported me huge throughout my career, and they're really the reason, my wife and my son are the reason why I've done what I've done the past, since 2003, 2004. And it's been a great journey. And if this is the last season I play, then this is a farewell. But if not, maybe you'll be hearing from me again sometime.
Thank you, Jeff. Les recordamos a todas las personas que nuestros podcasts están disponibles en nuestro canal de YouTube, Clecas del Deporte, así como en Facebook y Twitter nos pueden encontrar con el hashtag Clecas Podcast. Muchas gracias y bendiciones.